Ravi woke up slowly, his head pounding like a drum. At first he couldn't tell where he was. The air smelled metallic, sharp and cold. He blinked rapidly, trying to focus. Sparks of light flashed from broken panels above him, casting jagged shadows across the walls. Something heavy pressed against his chest, making it hard to breathe. He tried to move, but his body felt weak, as if he had been asleep for weeks. Then he felt it. A shadow loomed above him, tall and strange. His heart jumped. Slowly, his eyes focused, and he saw it. A 10-foot-tall alien crouched on top of him, its glowing eyes staring down. Its skin shimmered silver, reflecting the flickering lights. 4 long arms were bent in front of it, bracing itself like it was holding him in place. Ravi froze, unsure if he should scream or stay silent. The alien's gaze was curious, not angry. It leaned closer, tilting its head, observing him. Its eyes glowed with a soft blue light, and he noticed it had no visible mouth, only smooth ridges along its face. He could see faint markings across its chest, symbols that seemed to pulse with a soft rhythm. Ravi's fear mixed with confusion. Why was this enormous creature on top of him? Why wasn't it hurting him? He tried to speak, his voice barely a whisper. Who are you?" The alien made a soft humming sound. It lifted one massive arm and waved it slowly as if answering. Ravi took a small, cautious breath and realized the alien wasn't attacking him. Instead, it seemed to be studying him, examining his injuries. Ravi's memory returned in flashes. He had been on a deep space mining mission, traveling in the ship Orion's Edge. A routine survey of a distant asteroid field had gone wrong. He remembered a loud explosion, a wrenching impact, and then darkness. Somehow he had survived. Somehow so had the alien, although its movements were slow and careful, suggesting it had also been injured. He tried to sit up. The alien shifted slightly, making space but keeping one hand near him. Ravi noticed a faint glow coming from a small device attached to its wrist. The device projected a soft, transparent light onto his arm, scanning a cut that had opened during the explosion. The light passed over the wound and then retracted. The alien tilted its head, humming again. Ravi's fear began to mix with wonder. This being wasn't attacking him. It was helping him in its own alien way. He reached out his hand slowly, almost afraid it would strike. The alien watched, then extended one of its massive fingers toward his hand. The gesture was careful, almost gentle. Ravi let his hand touch it. The skin was smooth but warm, vibrating slightly as if alive. "What are you?" he whispered, more to himself than to the creature. The alien made another sound, more like a vibration than a noise. Then it touched the glowing device on his arm again. The light pulsed, and the cut on Ravi's arm seemed to close slightly. He felt a strange tingling sensation. Pain subsided. The relief was immediate, and Ravi realized that the creature wasn't just studying him. It knew how to heal. Ravi slowly stood up, his legs shaky. The alien mirrored him, rising to its full 10-foot height. Its towering figure filled the narrow corridor, yet it didn't make him feel small or threatened. Instead, there was a strange sense of protection, like it was telling him silently that he was safe as long as it was near. He glanced around the room. The spaceship was a wreck. Sparks flew from broken control panels. Pipes were torn from the walls, spraying steam into the air. The floor was littered with debris, tools, and broken equipment. A small fire burned near a fallen crate. Ravi realized the ship might not hold for long. If the hull breached, if the life support failed completely, neither he nor the alien would survive. He turned back to the creature. It was watching him carefully. He had an idea. If it was intelligent, if it could understand him, perhaps they could communicate. He held up his hands in a gesture of peace. Then he pointed at himself and said, "Ravi." The alien paused. It raised its hand, pointing one finger toward its chest. Slowly, it made a series of gestures with its other arms, moving them like a wave. It was clear it was trying to show him something, though he could not yet understand what. Ravi studied the alien closely. Its body was unlike anything he had ever seen. Its legs were long and strong, ending in wide feet that seemed perfect for balance. Its torso was flexible, able to bend in ways humans could not. Its arms were muscular but smooth, ending in delicate fingers tipped with pads that glowed faintly. Despite its size, it moved carefully, avoiding broken metal and sparks. Ravi knew he needed to keep moving, to assess the damage to the ship and find other survivors if any existed. He gestured toward the corridor ahead, pointing and then walking a few steps. The alien followed, its towering figure moving gracefully through the debris. It did not speak in words, but its hums and gestures seemed to encourage him, as if saying, "This way." They moved slowly, clearing the debris as best they could. Ravi found a small medkit and used it to dress his wounds, while the alien helped by passing him items with its massive hands. He noticed it avoided touching him roughly, its movements careful and precise, showing awareness and intelligence. After a few minutes, they reached the central hub of the ship. The control panels were smashed and red warning lights flashed everywhere. The life support system was failing. Ravi realized they needed oxygen and fast. He tapped the alien on the shoulder, then pointed toward the emergency supply locker. The alien understood immediately. It reached inside with one large hand and pulled out a compact oxygen tank. Its fingers were enormous, yet it handled the tank delicately. Ravi attached the mask and took a deep breath. The cool, clean air filled his lungs. The alien stood beside him, watching as he adjusted the mask. Then it tapped its own chest and gestured toward the broken console. He understood. It wanted him to help it access the ship's systems. Together, they began the slow process of navigating the wrecked ship. Every corridor held danger: sparks, broken floors, leaking fuel, and damaged electronics. Ravi led the way and the alien followed, helping him when needed and clearing obstacles in its path. Despite its size, it moved carefully, never bumping him or knocking over debris. As they worked together, Ravi felt a strange sense of awe. This creature was unlike anything in human history, yet it seemed to admire him, to care for him. He realized that in this strange, broken ship, humanity's courage and resilience were what had drawn it close. Hours passed. Ravi and the alien rested in a small storage room. He shared some food rations, and the alien observed him eating, touching its chest in a gesture he could only guess meant gratitude or curiosity. Ravi realized that they were forming a bond, fragile but real. They were two survivors trapped together, learning to trust each other in a dangerous world. Finally, Ravi leaned back against the wall, exhausted but alive. The alien lowered itself beside him, its massive form curling slightly to fit in the small space. Its glowing eyes watched him, softening as it hummed a low, almost musical note. Ravi smiled faintly. He did not understand its language, but he felt its meaning. "I am here. You are safe with me." For the first time since the explosion, Ravi allowed himself to relax. He knew their journey was just beginning. The ship was broken, dangerous, and they were alone in deep space. But he also knew that together, human courage and alien intelligence could face whatever came next. Above them, the lights flickered, the hum of the failing ship echoing through the corridors. Yet in that quiet, broken place, a bond was forming, one that would shape not only their survival but the story of humanity itself. Ravi closed his eyes, listening to the alien's soft hum, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. He had no idea what the future held, but he knew one thing with certainty. He was not alone, and that was enough to keep him alive. The ship's corridors were quiet except for the faint hum of failing machinery. Ravi had learned to move cautiously, stepping over twisted metal and sparks. Beside him, the 10-foot-tall alien followed, each step deliberate, its glowing eyes scanning the wreckage for danger. Though terrifying in appearance, the creature's careful movements reassured him. He could feel that it was aware of his every step, almost as if it were protecting him. Ravi's arm still throbbed where it had been cut, but the alien's earlier intervention had slowed the bleeding and eased the pain. He adjusted his oxygen mask and tried to think clearly. He needed to understand this alien if they were to survive. The explosion had destroyed most of the ship's communication systems, and no one would know they were alive unless they fixed them. He held up his hands in a simple gesture, palms open. The alien tilted its head, humming softly. Ravi pointed at himself and then at the alien, repeating the gesture he had tried before. The alien mirrored him, pointing at itself, then at him. Ravi smiled faintly. It seemed they had established a basic understanding. Each could recognize the other as a living being. He decided to test its intelligence further. He picked up a small tool from the floor, a screwdriver that had fallen from a panel. He tapped it on the floor and then pointed to a broken light fixture. The alien watched carefully, then extended one of its long arms and tapped the fixture in a similar way. The light flickered, then went out. Ravi realized it could understand simple cause and effect and could manipulate objects carefully despite its size. "Good," he whispered. You can help me." The alien hummed again, a sound that seemed almost like agreement. Ravi pointed toward the central hub of the ship, where life support readings were worst. The alien nodded, moving ahead to clear the path. Its massive hands pushed debris aside, lifting heavy panels with ease, careful not to crush anything. Ravi followed, feeling safer than he ever imagined he could feel with a 10-foot-tall creature by his side. As they moved, Ravi began to notice subtle details. The alien had scars and burns along one arm. Its skin had faint cracks, as if it had been through a struggle similar to his own. Perhaps it had survived the explosion in the same way he had, barely escaping the worst of the damage. The thought made him feel less alone. He was not the only survivor. They reached a corridor partially blocked by a fallen maintenance crate. Ravi tried to lift it, but it was too heavy. Before he could call out, the alien bent its massive arms and lifted the crate effortlessly, setting it aside with a careful motion. Ravi stared, impressed. "Thank you," he said. The alien hummed softly, then tapped his shoulder gently with a massive finger. Ravi interpreted it as acknowledgement. The central hub was worse than Ravi feared. Smoke drifted from damaged panels, sparks shot from broken circuits, and red warning lights flashed endlessly. He could see the life support system struggling to maintain oxygen levels. He gestured to the alien, pointing at the console and then at himself, signaling that he needed help fixing it. The alien approached the console, its fingers hovering over the controls. It made soft gestures, tapping and swiping, but the buttons were human-designed, not alien. Ravi realized the creature could not operate the systems alone. He knelt beside it and pointed to the oxygen levels, then at the emergency backup controls. The alien tilted its head, seemingly studying his gestures. Ravi explained slowly, speaking aloud to guide it. "We need to stabilize oxygen first. Then we can check the hull. Can you move that panel?" He pointed to a damaged access panel near the console. The alien extended one arm, lifted the panel with ease, and set it aside. Inside, wires and circuits were exposed. Ravi studied them, nodding. Together, they began reconnecting cables, combining his human knowledge with the alien's strength and precision. Hours passed. They worked in silence, communicating mostly through gestures and nods, sometimes through hums and tapping sounds. Ravi learned to recognize certain patterns in the alien's hums, like a rhythm that seemed to mean yes or no. He realized they were establishing a language of action, a way to cooperate without words. While reconnecting a circuit, Ravi accidentally sparked a loose wire. A small fire ignited. He froze, unsure what to do. The alien reacted instantly. One of its long arms shot out, covering the flames with a glowing, flexible membrane. The fire vanished in an instant. Ravi stared, amazed. "You really saved me again," he said. The alien hummed softly, then lowered its arm as if shrugging modestly. When the oxygen levels stabilized, Ravi let out a sigh of relief. They still had many problems, but at least the air would last longer. He gestured toward the ship's storage area, where supplies might remain. The alien followed, moving carefully down the corridor, stepping over broken pipes and puddles of coolant. In the storage area, they found ration packs and a few water containers. Ravi grabbed a pack and opened it, taking a small bite of food. The alien observed, touching its chest in a gesture Ravi could only guess meant curiosity or interest. He offered a piece of food, and after a long pause, the alien extended a finger and touched it lightly, tasting it in a strange, careful way. Ravi smiled faintly. Sharing food was a small step, but it felt like trust was growing between them. After eating, Ravi tried to learn more about the alien. He gestured at its chest, then at himself, pointing to his head to indicate thoughts. The alien hummed, tilted its head, and touched its own head with a finger. Ravi guessed it was trying to show that it thought and reasoned, much like him. He nodded slowly, impressed by the intelligence behind the enormous body. The alien then made a series of gestures with its arms, moving them in patterns that seemed almost like symbols. Ravi watched carefully. Perhaps it was trying to tell him something important. He pointed at the ship's hull, then at the alien, and mimicked its gestures. Slowly, he began to understand. The alien was warning him about weak spots in the ship, areas where the metal had cracked during the explosion. It wanted him to avoid them. Together, they moved cautiously, navigating the damaged ship. Ravi realized the alien had a keen sense of the environment. It noticed things he had missed. A pipe that might burst, a loose panel above a corridor, a section of floor that could collapse. It guided him silently, using gestures and soft hums, keeping him safe. Ravi felt grateful. He would never have survived alone. As night, or what passed for night in space, fell outside the ship, Ravi found a small room with enough space to rest. The alien followed, lowering its massive body to fit in the limited area. Ravi lay down, exhausted but alive. The alien curled beside him, its glowing eyes soft and steady. Ravi studied it, realizing that despite its size and strangeness, it had empathy. It cared in its own way for his survival. Ravi spoke quietly, almost to himself. "I don't even know your name, but I trust you." The alien hummed softly, a vibration that seemed to confirm understanding. Ravi closed his eyes, feeling a strange comfort. For the first time since the explosion, he felt he was not alone. He drifted into a light sleep, listening to the alien's soft hum. Outside, the ship groaned and sparks flickered from damaged panels. Danger still lurked everywhere, but for now there was an uneasy truce, a bond formed in fire and fear. Human courage and alien intelligence had come together, two beings learning to survive in a hostile, broken world. When Ravi woke again, the alien was already awake, standing by the door scanning the corridor. Its hums had a different rhythm now, almost like a warning. Ravi followed its gaze and saw a damaged section of the hull. He realized the alien had been keeping watch, protecting him even in his sleep. A wave of gratitude and admiration filled him. Ravi touched the alien's arm gently. It lowered its head, and for a brief moment their eyes met. No words were needed. They both understood. They were partners now, united by circumstance, intelligence, and trust. The journey ahead would be dangerous. The ship was failing, and the universe outside was unforgiving. But Ravi knew one thing clearly. With this alien by his side, he had a chance to survive. Human determination and the alien's power could face whatever came next. And so together they stepped back into the wrecked corridors, ready to explore, repair, and survive. One being human, one being alien, yet both connected by a fragile bond that neither fully understood but both would rely upon. Ravi had never felt so curious about anyone or anything in his life. The alien was not only enormous and powerful, but it also moved with careful intelligence. Every action it took had meaning, and every gesture seemed to carry thought. He wondered where it had come from, why it had been aboard the ship, and what it truly wanted. They moved through the ship's lower decks, searching for supplies and a working communication system. Broken panels, exposed wiring, and scattered tools made the corridors hazardous. Sparks flew from damaged equipment and small fires burned near oil leaks. Ravi had to concentrate, stepping carefully while the alien's massive body cleared obstacles with surprising precision. During a break, Ravi decided to ask the questions that had been burning in his mind. He pointed to himself and said slowly, "Ravi." Then he pointed at the alien, then at its chest. "Name?" The alien tilted its head, hums vibrating softly. It touched a mark on its chest, the glowing symbols pulsing briefly. Ravi frowned. He could not pronounce whatever name the alien might have, but he sensed it was trying to communicate its identity in its own way. Ravi nodded, understanding that words might not work between them. He decided to observe instead. He watched its movements, its gestures, its reactions. He realized it had knowledge of the ship that no ordinary being could have. When they reached a collapsed corridor, the alien extended a hand and traced glowing lines along the walls. They lit briefly, revealing hidden circuits and maintenance panels. It was teaching him, showing him where the ship's systems still worked and where they were irreparably damaged. As they explored, Ravi found something unusual. A sealed compartment had survived the explosion. The hatch was damaged but still functional. Ravi gestured to the alien, pointing at the door. The alien extended one massive arm, then touched the control panel, pressing symbols in a careful sequence. The hatch opened silently, revealing a small storage area filled with scientific equipment and data pads. Ravi's eyes widened. "This must be the lab," he whispered. Someone was studying something here." The alien moved closer to the equipment, its fingers hovering over the pads. It hummed softly, then touched one of the data pads with a glowing finger. Symbols appeared on the screen, and Ravi recognized some of them. The pads contained research about alien life, including its own species. His heart raced. The alien was not an intruder. It was a scientist, an explorer, and a researcher. Ravi pointed at the alien, then at himself, then at the pad. He was asking the truth. The alien hesitated. Its hums grew longer, slower, almost hesitant. Then, using gestures and tapping the pads, it began to communicate a story. The alien had been taken aboard the ship for study by humans long ago. Not as a weapon, not as a threat. It had been observing human behavior in harsh environments, learning from them and documenting their resilience. The explosion had trapped it here just as it had trapped Ravi. Ravi felt a strange mix of awe and relief. The creature had risked nothing to harm him. On the contrary, it had saved him multiple times, protected him from falling debris, and guided him through dangerous corridors. Its massive form had shielded him from sparks, collapsing panels, and even small fires. Ravi realized the alien's motives had been purely survival and protection, not aggression. He gestured toward himself, then to the alien, then made a motion like holding a life. The alien seemed to understand. It tapped his hand lightly with one glowing finger, and for the first time Ravi felt that the alien recognized him as an equal, not just a specimen to study. He smiled faintly, feeling the bond between them grow stronger. They continued exploring, now with a clearer sense of purpose. The alien led him to another part of the ship, one that had been mostly intact. Panels here were scratched but functional, and some lights still flickered with power. Ravi noticed a map of the ship displayed on a damaged screen. He pointed at it, then at himself, then at the alien. He was asking for guidance. The alien moved over the map, tracing lines along corridors that were still safe. It hummed softly, indicating areas of caution. Ravi realized that the alien had an intimate understanding of the ship's layout, probably far beyond his own knowledge. It could detect weak spots, avoid hazards, and predict where the ship might fail next. Its intelligence was practical and precise. As they navigated the corridors, Ravi asked a question he had been fearing. He pointed at the alien, then at the exit hatch, then at the stars visible through a cracked viewport. "Home?" he asked, trying to understand if it wanted to return to its own world. The alien's glowing eyes softened, and it touched the viewport with a long finger. It tapped on the stars, then back at itself, then back at Ravi. The gesture was clear. Its home was far away, but for now it was with him. It had chosen to stay and survive alongside him. Ravi felt a surge of respect. This being so powerful and so different had chosen to trust him, to share knowledge, and to protect him. He realized that this was what humanity's reputation might have inspired: courage, intelligence, and the willingness to face danger without harming others. In the storage area, Ravi found additional supplies, more food rations, water, and some repair tools. The alien observed him, its glowing fingers hovering over the items. Ravi handed a small tool to it, unsure if it could use it. The alien examined it carefully, then lifted it with one massive hand, adjusting it as if preparing to help with repairs. Its cooperation was precise and intelligent. Ravi felt a new determination. He would learn from the alien as much as it had learned from him. Together they could stabilize the ship, repair life support, and maybe even reach a working communication system. He realized that the alien's presence was not a threat. It was a gift. Its knowledge, strength, and intelligence could complement his own human ingenuity. As they worked on repairs, Ravi noticed more about the alien's abilities. It could manipulate tools with surprising delicacy despite its size. Its long fingers could adjust circuits, tighten bolts, and operate control panels without causing damage. Its glowing chest symbols seemed to pulse when it solved a problem, as if signaling satisfaction or success. Ravi realized that this being was more than physical strength. It had a mind capable of reasoning and learning. Ravi attempted to teach it some human methods, showing it how to use certain tools and pointing to symbols on the control panels. The alien observed carefully, mimicking some movements, adjusting others with its own understanding. Though it did not speak human words, Ravi could sense comprehension in its hums, gestures, and actions. They were forming a silent language of cooperation. Hours passed. Sparks from broken panels, flickering lights, and the low hum of failing machinery were all they could hear. Yet in this quiet, Ravi felt a sense of companionship he had never imagined possible. The alien had saved his life multiple times, guided him through hazards, and now worked alongside him to repair the ship. He realized that trust had formed, fragile but real. Finally, they reached a section of the ship that had been sealed off before the explosion. The alien gestured for caution, tapping the walls and floors, then pointing toward the hatch. Ravi nodded, understanding that it had detected potential danger. Together, they opened the hatch slowly. Beyond it lay a small research lab, largely untouched. Ravi could see the alien's reactions. Its eyes glowed brighter, and it hummed with a rhythm that seemed almost emotional. This room was familiar to it, a place of study, perhaps even of home in some sense. Ravi realized that this alien had a past aboard the ship, and its actions to save him were not only instinctual, but informed by knowledge and experience. They explored the lab together. The alien handled delicate equipment with care, showing it understood the purpose of the tools. Ravi watched, fascinated. He pointed to a scanner, then to himself, then at the alien, indicating that he wanted to understand its function. The alien tapped a series of controls, projecting a holographic display of star maps, alien biology, and research notes. Ravi's mind raced. This being had been studying life, learning about survival, and perhaps even learning about humans in a way no one else could. Ravi smiled faintly. He realized that their survival depended not just on strength or technology, but on intelligence, trust, and cooperation. The alien was not a monster or a threat. It was a partner, an observer, and perhaps even a friend. Humanity, through courage and ingenuity, had earned this creature's respect. As night, or the closest thing to night on a drifting spaceship, fell, Ravi and the alien rested in the lab. Ravi studied it, noticing subtle gestures of comfort. It adjusted its posture to avoid damaging equipment, its glowing eyes softened, and its hums were rhythmic and calm. Ravi felt a sense of pride. He was witnessing something remarkable, a connection between human courage and alien intelligence, forming in the midst of disaster. Ravi whispered quietly, almost to himself, "I don't know if anyone else will survive this, but with you here, I think we can." The alien hummed softly, a vibration that seemed to agree. Ravi felt the bond deepen. In the silence of the lab, surrounded by the wreckage of a failing ship, two beings, human and alien, had found trust, understanding, and a shared will to survive. Ravi had grown used to the alien's presence, its towering form moving carefully beside him as they explored the damaged ship. For hours they repaired circuits, stabilized life support, and scavenged supplies. The alien's glowing eyes reflected intelligence and caution, while Ravi's hands worked quickly, guided by his knowledge of human technology. They had formed a silent rhythm, a partnership built on survival. But as they reached the engineering section, a new sense of danger hung in the air. The room was dimly lit, smoke curling from ruptured pipes, and the low hum of the reactor sounded uneven, like a heartbeat out of rhythm. Ravi stopped, listening. The alien's glowing eyes swept across the room, and it tapped its chest, then the reactor, then back at Ravi. The gesture was clear. There was a threat he could not yet understand. Ravi approached the reactor cautiously. Panels were open, wires hanging loose. The readout on the display flashed red, warning of overheating and radiation leakage. His heart raced. We need to stabilize this," he said aloud. The alien hummed and extended one massive arm toward the reactor. Its fingers hovered over the panels, but it did not touch anything. Ravi realized that its knowledge alone could not fix this problem. Human understanding of the reactor was needed, and he was the only one who could operate it safely. He pointed to the alien, then to the reactor, then gestured for it to help hold tools or panels. The alien nodded and began carefully moving debris and loose cables out of the way. Sparks flew, and Ravi ducked under a hanging pipe as the alien lifted it effortlessly. He felt a mixture of fear and admiration. This creature could destroy him with a single motion, yet it moved with precision and caution, protecting him at every step. Ravi activated the emergency control panel. He could see the reactor core spinning too fast, heat levels climbing and radiation alarms blaring. He began reconnecting the circuits, his fingers trembling slightly as he worked. The alien stood beside him, monitoring, its eyes glowing softly as if calculating the situation. Occasionally it tapped panels, stabilizing small connections or holding wires in place. Together they formed a synchronized team, combining human knowledge with alien strength. Suddenly a loud explosion echoed through the engineering bay. A pipe burst, spraying steam and debris across the floor. Ravi yelped, slipping slightly, but the alien reacted instantly. Its massive arm shot out, shielding him from the hot steam. Another arm moved to block falling debris. Ravi stared, heart pounding. He realized that this creature's reflexes were far faster than human reactions, and it had instinctively protected him. They worked in tense silence, broken only by the hiss of escaping steam and the hum of the failing reactor. Ravi realized that the ship's condition was worse than he had imagined. If the reactor failed completely, the explosion would destroy everything. He needed a plan, and he needed the aliens' cooperation. Ravi gestured toward the reactor core, pointing at specific wires, then at himself, and then at the alien. He mimed connecting circuits in a sequence. The alien watched carefully, then tapped panels in a precise order, matching his gestures. Slowly, the readings began to stabilize. Heat levels dropped slightly, and radiation readings became manageable. Ravi allowed himself a small sigh of relief. They were buying time, but the danger was not over. Another alarm sounded, indicating a critical failure in the cooling system. Ravi's stomach tightened. "If we can't fix the coolant, the reactor will explode," he said. The alien tilted its head, tapping a panel and then pointing toward the maintenance shaft above the reactor. Ravi understood. They had to access the core directly. Ravi climbed onto a platform to reach the upper controls. The alien lifted debris with one hand, clearing a path, then extended a long arm to hold a loose panel in place. Its movements were careful, almost gentle despite its size. Ravi marveled at the combination of strength and precision. Together, they could reach places neither could alone. As Ravi adjusted a cooling valve, another pipe burst, spraying hot liquid near him. He jumped back instinctively. The alien reacted instantly, its massive body shielding him from the worst of the spray. Then it carefully adjusted the valve with one glowing finger, stabilizing the system. Ravi realized the alien could sense danger before it fully occurred, predicting outcomes with remarkable accuracy. Hours seemed to pass in moments as they worked. Every panel they fixed, every wire they reconnected was a step toward survival. Ravi pointed toward the core again, then tapped the alien's chest. He mimed a sequence of actions they had practiced together. The alien followed, moving with purpose, its glowing eyes focused. Slowly, the reactor began to respond. Heat levels dropped and the alarms quieted. But just as relief began to settle in, the ship groaned violently. A section of the ceiling above them cracked, sending debris crashing toward the platform. Ravi froze, but the alien reacted instantly. Its massive arms lifted the debris, holding it away from him while it tapped panels to stabilize power to the emergency systems. Ravi felt a surge of admiration. This creature had risked itself repeatedly, yet it never hesitated to protect him at every danger. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the reactor stabilized. The alarms ceased, the heat readings returned to safe levels, and the remaining steam hissed away. Ravi collapsed onto a platform, exhausted, while the alien lowered itself carefully beside him. Its glowing eyes softened and it hummed in a slow, calming rhythm. Ravi realized that despite its enormous size and alien appearance, it had a sense of care and responsibility that rivaled human compassion. Ravi took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their achievement. We did it," he said softly. The alien tapped its chest, then gestured toward him. Ravi understood. The creature acknowledged his courage and skill. Together they had faced a threat far greater than either could handle alone. As they rested, Ravi began to think about the future. The ship was damaged, the reactor unstable, and they were alone in deep space. Yet he felt a strange confidence. With the alien's strength and intelligence combined with his knowledge and resourcefulness, they had a chance to survive. Humanity had shown resilience, and the alien had recognized it. He felt proud that their bond had been forged through trust and cooperation. Ravi reached out his hand, and the alien lowered one massive finger to touch it gently. The gesture was simple but meaningful. Ravi realized that this connection, formed in a desperate situation, was more powerful than any technology or weapon. They had become partners, united by the will to survive. Even as the reactor hummed safely, Ravi knew the ship still held dangers. The hull had weak points. Other systems were failing, and they still had no way to contact anyone outside. But the alien had proven that it could handle threats with calm intelligence and decisive action. Together, they could face whatever came next. Ravi spoke quietly, almost to himself. "We have to keep going. We have to survive." The alien hummed softly, leaning close in a protective stance. Ravi felt a deep respect for this being. It was not just a powerful creature. It was a thinking, reasoning partner, capable of understanding danger, learning, and making decisions to save lives. They spent the next few hours repairing minor systems, checking oxygen levels and reinforcing weak areas in the engineering section. The alien worked tirelessly, moving massive objects, reconnecting panels, and ensuring that every action Ravi took was supported. Ravi realized that this was the ultimate form of teamwork, human determination guided by alien strength and intelligence. As the ship's systems slowly stabilized, Ravi allowed himself a moment of reflection. He had faced the real threat of the failing reactor, and he had survived because of courage, intelligence, and trust. The alien had proven itself not only powerful but morally aligned with his own instincts to protect life. Humanity had earned the respect of a being far stronger and smarter, simply through resilience, courage, and cooperation. Finally, Ravi and the alien rested, their bodies tired but their spirits renewed. The ship groaned softly, the hum of the reactor steady for now and the alarms silent. Ravi realized that while the immediate danger had passed, the challenges ahead would require even more courage and ingenuity. Yet he felt ready. With the alien at his side, he could face the unknown, repair the ship, and perhaps even reach safety. Ravi reached out, touching the alien's hand gently. The creature's glowing eyes met his. No words were needed. They both understood. Together, they had faced the real threat, and together they would face the future. Their bond, formed in the crucible of disaster, was stronger than fear, stronger than danger, and stronger than isolation. And in that quiet, dangerous ship, drifting through the endless stars, human courage and alien intelligence had proven a powerful combination. Ravi sat against a wall in the engineering section, breathing heavily. The reactor had been stabilized, but the ship was still damaged, the hull weak and oxygen levels barely holding steady. He looked at the alien towering beside him. Its glowing eyes met his, calm yet alert, ready for whatever came next. Ravi knew that surviving the reactor crisis was only part of their challenge. They still had to reach the escape pods before the ship's systems failed completely. He rose slowly, testing his legs. His muscles ached, but determination burned in him. "We have to move," he said quietly, pointing toward the escape pod bay. The alien hummed, a soft vibration that Ravi had learned meant agreement. Together they began navigating the ship's broken corridors. The path was treacherous. Loose panels threatened to fall, sparks flew from exposed wires, and the floor buckled under weak spots. Ravi moved carefully, watching each step. The alien moved beside him, its massive hands lifting debris, stabilizing the walls, and guiding him through hazards. They worked as a team, silent but in perfect harmony. Ravi realized that this partnership had become essential for survival. As they approached the escape pod bay, Ravi noticed a section of the corridor that had been weakened by the explosion. One wrong step could send them plunging into the lower decks. He gestured to the alien, pointing at the floor, then mimicked stepping carefully. The alien extended a massive arm, bracing the floor, creating a safe path for Ravi. He crossed slowly, glancing back to ensure the alien followed. Its huge feet landed carefully, yet the sheer weight made the corridor groan under strain. Finally, they reached the pod bay. Rows of escape pods sat in hibernation, some damaged, others seemingly functional. Ravi checked the nearest pod. The door was sealed electronically, and the control panel flickered with error messages. He tapped the screen, trying to bring it online while the alien observed. Its glowing fingers hovered over the panel, as if assisting him in thought rather than touch. Ravi felt a surge of hope. Together they could make this work. He studied the controls, realizing that only one pod seemed operational. It was damaged but repairable. He gestured toward the alien, pointing at the pod, then mimicking repairs. The alien extended one massive arm, lifting debris and opening panels while Ravi connected wires and recalibrated circuits. Sparks flew, and heat from damaged components scorched the floor, but the alien shielded him with its massive body. Step by step, they brought the pod online. Suddenly, a warning alarm blared from the ship. The hull had shifted, metal groaning under stress. Ravi's heart raced. "We don't have much time," he said. The alien hummed, stepping closer, its glowing eyes scanning the corridors. Ravi realized that the creature understood the danger fully. It had predicted the ship's instability and was ready to act. Ravi completed the final connections to the pod's control panel. He tapped the screen and the door slowly hissed open. Relief surged through him, but he knew they weren't safe yet. The pod needed power for launch, and the ship could collapse at any moment. He gestured to the alien, pointing at the pod, then at himself. The alien extended its massive arms, helping stabilize the pod and holding damaged panels in place as Ravi completed the last adjustments. With a deep breath, Ravi climbed into the pod, the alien following carefully behind, adjusting its posture to fit. Its massive body took up most of the space, yet it moved gently, careful not to damage the interior. Ravi felt a sense of awe. This creature, enormous and alien, had risked everything to save him, yet it remained calm and precise. He activated the pod's systems. Lights flickered, then stabilized. The control panel displayed the countdown to launch. Ravi glanced at the alien. Its glowing eyes met his, and he nodded. He could see understanding in those eyes. This alien had witnessed humanity's courage firsthand, and it had chosen to act selflessly, protecting him even when the risks were enormous. As the countdown reached its final seconds, Ravi held one of the alien's massive fingers. The gesture was simple yet profound. He could feel strength, intelligence, and trust all in that touch. When the pod's engines ignited, they were hurled into space, the massive ship behind them groaning and shuddering. Pieces of debris floated away as the hull began to collapse. Ravi pressed his back against the seat, feeling the vibrations, yet he felt a deep sense of pride. They had survived together. Once the pod cleared the ship, Ravi allowed himself to breathe. The stars stretched infinitely around them, cold and bright. He looked at the alien, whose glowing eyes reflected the endless universe. He realized how much he had underestimated strength and intelligence beyond humanity. Yet now he understood that human courage and determination could earn the respect of even the most powerful beings. The alien tapped its chest, then gestured toward Ravi. He understood immediately. It had admired his determination, his willingness to survive, and his courage in facing danger without hesitation. Ravi smiled faintly. Humanity had earned this being's respect, not through weapons or authority, but through resilience, cleverness, and a moral instinct to protect life. They drifted silently for a while, the pod's engines maintaining minimal course corrections. Ravi looked at the alien again. It seemed tired, its massive body resting in the limited space. He reached out, offering water from his supply, and the alien touched it lightly, drinking carefully. He felt a surge of connection, knowing that trust had been fully established. Ravi's thoughts turned to the future. The pod had limited life support, but it was functional. They could reach a nearby human colony if they navigated carefully. He gestured at the controls, showing the alien where to help monitor course and systems. Its glowing eyes followed his gestures, and it responded with small taps and movements, demonstrating understanding. Together, they could pilot this pod to safety. Hours passed as they navigated through asteroid fields and drifting debris. Ravi guided the pod while the alien assisted with stabilizing controls and monitoring sensors. They communicated without words, using gestures, glances, and vibrations. The partnership had evolved into a perfect balance of human ingenuity and alien intelligence. As the colony's lights finally appeared on the horizon, Ravi felt a wave of relief. They were close to safety. He tapped the alien's massive arm gently, pointing at the colony, then mimicking a landing. The alien nodded, and together they adjusted the pod's trajectory. Ravi could see it calculating, predicting movements and assisting with precision beyond human ability. Finally, the pod touched down gently, skimming the surface before settling. Ravi exhaled deeply. They had made it. He opened the hatch carefully, helping the alien step out. Its massive feet pressed lightly against the colony's surface, and Ravi realized that despite the differences between them, they had survived together as equals. Colonists rushed to meet them, shocked at the sight of the enormous alien. Ravi stood protectively beside it, gesturing toward the alien's peaceful intent. Slowly, the colonists understood. The alien had acted selflessly, saving a human life and demonstrating intelligence and moral awareness far beyond expectations. Ravi felt proud. Humanity had shown courage and compassion, and the alien had recognized it. The alien tapped its chest one final time, then gestured toward Ravi. The message was clear. You are worth saving. Ravi smiled, feeling the weight of their journey. Together, they had survived disaster, repaired a failing ship, faced enormous threats, and reached safety. Human courage had earned trust, respect, and even admiration from a being far beyond their species. As night fell over the colony, Ravi looked at the stars, thinking about the vast universe. He realized that humanity was not just fragile or limited. Their courage, determination, and moral strength could inspire even the most powerful beings. And in that realization, he found hope for the future. The alien remained beside him, calm and observant. Its glowing eyes reflected trust, intelligence, and perhaps even something like friendship. Ravi knew that their bond would endure. They had faced the unimaginable together, survived against impossible odds, and emerged stronger. Ravi whispered quietly, almost to himself, "We did it. Together." The alien hummed softly in response, a rhythm that seemed to echo understanding and agreement. They were two survivors from different worlds, united by courage, intelligence, and mutual respect. Humanity had faced disaster, and in that moment humanity had shined through. Together, Ravi and the alien looked toward the horizon, ready for the next journey, whatever it might bring. They had survived the unimaginable, learned to trust across species, and proven that courage, intelligence, and moral strength could overcome even the greatest challenges. In that quiet moment, amidst the stars, Ravi knew something powerful and true. Humanity was worth saving, and now so was he. And the alien, massive, intelligent, and gentle, had shown that even the most different beings could recognize that worth.